Owing to its immigration legacy, ethically and culturally, the United States of America is one of the world's most diverse and tolerant nations. The start of many trends and forward-thinking initiatives has also been attributed to the open-minded nation. In the last 100 years, U.S. society has also consciously and compassionately progressed in animal welfare and the preference for the healthier plant-based diet. Supreme Master Ching Hai has on many occasions spoken of the deep spiritual quality of this great nation.
I really respect the Americans, for their force, for their determination, and their hard work spirit. Within 200 years, they built a whole nation, and so big, so vast a nation. I was always touched when I arrived in America. And the Americans were also refugees. They wanted to protect their belief. That is very noble, really. And they came with nothing. Only the brain, only the spirit, only their faithful belief in God. And look at what they have made out of this nation, out of the wildness, of the big wasteland. And they have built from nothing to make it become the most powerful country on earth. And now, because their seed is spiritual, therefore they always return to spiritual. The first motive for them to settle in this land is spiritual reason. Therefore, that seed never died. Yes. And because they are spiritual, therefore they can build their land so strong. Because they have built everything that they need to have a comfortable earthly existence. Now they are very much for spiritual. That's why a lot of vegetarian houses in America now. Many people are vegetarian. Millions of people.
It is interesting to note that prior to the industrial era that escalated during the 20th century, meat eating in the United States was not at all common before the 1900s. Indeed, most people living in the U.S. before this age ate very little animal flesh and subsisted on a primarily plant-based diet. Today, we cordially invite you to join us on an inspiring and informative exploration into the lesser-known but venerable history of this great united nation.
There actually was a distinct vegetarian movement in the United States that was fairly popular and fairly well recognized from the 1830s onwards.
Mr. Adam Shprintzen, PhD candidate in the Department of History at Loyola University of Chicago, USA, will be our guide today in the first of our three-part program on our noble lineage. A vegetarian himself, Mr. Shprintzen became interested in history of vegetarianism in America while attending university. He quickly realized it is an often neglected cornerstone of 19th century America and delved deeper into its research as part of his higher studies.
There have certainly been individuals who practiced a vegetarian diet in the United States going back to the earliest settlers, even going back further to the Native Americans.
There is strong evidence to suggest that the Pilgrims arriving at Plymouth Harbor on November 11, 1620, probably dined on a vegan meal of mainly beans and rice offered by the Wampanoag Native Americans. James Traeger, author of the Food Encyclopedia, relates that turkey was actually not present at the Pilgrims' first Thanksgiving dinner. There was, however, a variety of Wampanoag delicacies, including cornmeal and nuts, accompanied by gooseberries, strawberries, plums, cherries, cranberries, and possibly pumpkin and squash, nature's gifts for the autumn harvest. In fact, Thanksgiving was only declared a national holiday starting in 1863 to promote national unity. Incidentally, White House tradition on this day is to symbolically set a turkey free. The famed supporter of American independence and author Thomas Paine wrote in his 1791 work, Age of Reason,
"The moral duty of man consists of imitating the moral goodness and beneficence of God manifested in the creation towards all his creatures. Everything of persecution and revenge between human and human, and everything of cruelty to animals is a violation of moral duty."
This United States was and is a courageous nation founded on faith. Its official motto of "In God We Trust" tells a lot about this country's lineage and quest for noble ideals.
In 1817, the Bible Christian Church, a group of migrants coming from Liverpool in England, came to the shores of the United States and settled in Philadelphia. They not only abstained from meat and other animal products, but they were preaching this and trying to reach out to other people to follow a similar diet.
Bible Christian Church's views on vegetarianism spread across the Atlantic Ocean and reached the eastern shores of the United States thanks to Reverend William Metcalf and Reverend James Clark. They established a stateside arm of the church in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This contributed to the central formation of an American vegetarian movement. Years later, Reverend James Clark went on to establish the International Vegetarian Union to provide a supportive basis for vegetarians, as well as creating awareness for those interested in the healthier, kinder way to live.
So what role has religion played in the movement from that time forward?
Certainly throughout the 19th century, it was a fundamentally important factor within the growth of vegetarianism in the United States. Again, starting with this Bible Christian Church, who believed that the Old Testament said that a vegetarian diet was fundamental to living a good, moral life.
John Gilheeney, author of Familiar Strangers, The Church and the Vegetarian Movement in Britain, 1809 to 2009, reminds us of the virtues of Christianity, upon which the Bible Christian Church was founded.
If you look at basic core Christian tenets of love, mercy, peace, justice, it's quite a long list really, but it's quite a basic one in terms of that you'll find these aspirations in any religion. Vegetarianism follows on from most of them, you know. I mean, you could talk about peace in particular as something that's quite absent, evidently so in slaughterhouses. Very difficult to reconcile with stabbing animals in the throat, which is basically what it amounts to in real life if you remove all the euphemisms and various other softening terms that disguise what really happens.
Reverend William Metcalf was determined to share the truth. He spoke about the desolation wrought in the soul by the sin of flesh-eating, which cannot be easily understood because of instituted eating habits. Hence, he reminded a constant devotion was needed by those who were enlightened in the principles of vegetarianism to awaken the public to this spiritual reality. The Bible Christian Church in Philadelphia became synonymous as a vegetarian institution. He also tried his best to reach out to the public through the media. He wrote articles on vegetarianism for widely circulated newspapers like the Philadelphia Gazette, the Saturday Evening Post, in addition to other publications. As the Bible Christians believed that vegetarianism was God's law and that Jesus also subsisted on a plant-based diet, Reverend Metcalf preached that it was a misinterpretation of the Bible that led to the belief that Jesus fed fish to people. Reverend Metcalf explained that the word for fish used in the Gospels did not translate as a marine species, but rather meant animal-free relishes that were served with bread. Reverend Metcalf also caught the attention of Dr. Sylvester Graham, creator of the graham cracker, and John Harvey Kellogg, co-creator of cornflakes cereal, both of whom played key roles in the founding of the American vegetarian movement. When we return after this brief message, we will hear more about the roles of Dr. Sylvester Graham and John Harvey Kellogg in starting the United States' first vegetarian society. You are watching Our Noble Lineage on Supreme Master Television.